Well, sorry. Ini students, I'm back. And because now we have to work on questions, okay? Indirect questions or reported questions. As we did before, I want you to have a look at some verbs, the most important verbs we use when dealing with questions, okay? We use the verb to ask, and to ask somebody something. You see, this is between brackets because you may include it or not. You may say, she asked me, let's use an example with if I was married, or she asked if we were ready. Okay, so you may include this somebody or not. And this something that the person asks may be if or whether, as in my example, she asked me if I was married, or he asked me whether I was married. And the other possibility is to have a WH. This is related with the questions. When you say, he asked me if I was married, think of the question. Which is the question that the speaker produces? Are you married? So I say, he asked me if I was married. It is a question that we call yes-no question, okay? Because you expect either a yes or a no as an answer. For all the yes-no questions, you use if or whether. But the other questions are called WH questions. Questions that start with what, where, why, when. For example, we could say, he then asked me where I lived. He then asked me where I lived. Can you imagine which his question was? Yes, the question was, where do you live? And when I report that, it becomes, he asked me where I lived. Why? Okay, no, let me finish. And then you have the verb to answer, okay? And you answer something directly. I answered, I lived in Mar del Plata, for example. Now, why did I say that questions are a little bit more difficult? Because we are doing two things. In the case of statements, we have to remember to go a step backwards with tenses. We have to remember that, the present progressive becomes past progressive. But in the case of questions, we have to remember that. And another thing, that these questions are no longer true or real questions, okay? They are indirect questions. So they have the form of a statement. Let's see how this works. Let's have a look at the examples I have here. Imagine I am your teacher and I ask you, I meet you and I say, oh, do you like English? Can you speak English well? And I keep on asking questions. Where did you first study English? Will you do your homework? Have you studied English before? Okay, imagine I am your teacher asking you these questions. Let's see how we could report my questions. Once again, you go home and you talk to your parents and you want to tell them about the question. So you could say, my teacher, okay? My teacher, oh, this is so small, why? Doesn't matter. My teacher, or rather, let's go for the plural. Our teacher asked us. What about the first example? We have several. First of all, what about the tense? Yes, this is simple present. So, what do we need to do? We have to go a step backwards. So, this simple present becomes a simple past. Very good. That is one of the things we do. But the other is, now, this is no longer a question, okay? It is an indirect question. So it has, it is like a sentence, like a statement in a way. So our teacher asked us, is this a yes-no question? Yes, so I need if. Our teacher asked us if we need a simple past, liked English. All right. In the other question, you could say she asked, is this a yes-no question? Yes. So we need if. She asked if we could speak English well. You see? So I'm doing two things. I am changing can into could, but at the same time, I'm turning this real question into an indirect question. Let's try the following. Where did you study English? We look at the tense, and the tense is simple past. So what do we need now? We have to turn this into, yes, past perfect. That is the first step. But also, is this a yes-no question? Do you expect an answer yes or no? Not in this case. So we're going to use this form, right? The WH form. Let's see. Let's try this. So, she asked, we need the WH. Where, and now, how do we go on? Where we had first studied English. She asked where we had first studied English. I know this is a little bit difficult. Will you do your homework? She asked, yeah, this is always the same. She asked if we will becomes would. If we would do our homework. And there are other changes involved, right? Because here it says your, well, if you retell that, you say, she asked if we would do our homework, okay? She asked, look at this, have you studied English before? Yes, no question. So she asked if we had studied English before. Okay? So, this is difficult, but you have to practice and you will do it well. So, I will finish here and I will give you some instructions. I would like you to work on the reported speech using our booklet and some of the readings from the course too. Okay, thanks for listening.